these royals either end up shagging and marrying one of the siblings or killing one of them. And I'm not going to kill me sister or shag me brother just to get my hands on my mum's Nissan Duke. It's not... Hello. Nice to be here. This is a weird job. This is a weird job. Not the weirdest job. Back in the day, it was someone's job to be the royal bum wiper. So they would wipe the monarch's ass, and it was a job that everybody wanted, because if you was a royal bum wiper, you was the only one who got the monarch on their own, so you could whisper in their ear and trying to affect the decisions. And I love that that's how some of history was shaped, you know. I just imagine Henry VIII bent over like that while some bloke's like, why don't you just make your own church? OK, we're clever. Good. If you didn't get that reference, oh, bless. No, no, that was mean. We all know different things. Doesn't make us more intelligent than one another, you know. I know quite a bit about the Tudors, but if you asked me to show you the vulva, I'd start pointing at cars. No idea. But if you didn't get the Henry VIII reference, quick history lesson. Henry VIII wanted to divorce his first wife, Catherine of Aragon, so he could marry Anne Boleyn, but the Catholic Church wouldn't let him, so then he created his own church, the Church of England. And that's how in the UK we got Catholics and Protestants. Luckily, everyone got on, there were no dramas. That's true, don't Google it. I had to tell that joke every day in Scotland for a month, and it was terrifying. It was so scary. Nice to be here. If you've seen me before, if you see me do stand-up before, you probably see me speak about relationships or bumming or whatever. But I'm going to mix it up a bit tonight, and I'm going to talk about the slave trade. Don't worry, I'm not pro. So like I said, I'm from Manchester. Manchester's biggest rivalry is Liverpool. That rivalry started all the way during the slave trade, because back then Liverpool was one of the wealthiest cities, because they made all the money on the docks, and Manchester, we had all the factories, so we made all the money on the industry. And a lot of people from Liverpool were angry. They was like, why are we giving Manchester the factories? We should have the factories and the docks and make all of the money. But now I think Liverpool should be grateful that Manchester had the factories, because we shared the workload, kind of meaning we shared the blame. Because if Liverpool would have had all of it, if they would have made all the money on the docks and all the money on the factories, then I don't think they would have got Eurovision. I think we'd be like, no, you've had enough, you greedy bastard. But if you go to Manchester now, all those factories are still there, but they've been refurbed into luxury city centre apartments, right? And if anyone in this room happened to have an ancestor who was a slave during the slave trade, what I recommend is going to Manchester, making friends with one of the woke white people who live in these refurbed factories, start a conversation about the slave trade, tell them how your ancestor was a slave during the slave trade, educate them on how the building they live in was funded directly from the slave trade, then look them dead in the eyes and go, keys. And if they're woke enough, you might get a free flat out of it. I love that joke, because it is just 60 seconds of me watching you shit your pants, which is quite fun. I had to tell that joke for the first time a couple of months ago at a yoga festival. I'll do anything for money, I swear to God. So, I was at this yoga festival, right? And as you can imagine, a yoga festival, it was just full of rich white women, hundreds of rich white women. From my view on stage, it looked like someone had opened a massive box of tampons and put little tiny wigs on them. It really did. But there were one black woman in the crowd, just one black woman in the crowd. And as I was leaving, she came up to me and she went, keys? I was like, you're not getting my flat. I live in a new build, piss it off. But, yeah, I love history, but we've got some weird characters in British history. Queen Victoria, she's got a reputation for being a bit sour and a bit miserable. Actually, she was really saucy. When she died, her daughter had to rewrite extracts of her diary because it was so sexually graphic, right? One of the things that she wrote, my dear Albert came in today from the rain. He looked so handsome in his white cashmere breeches with nothing on underneath. Very saucy. But Albert was a first cousin, so points off for incest. Honestly. The more I learn about the royals, I'm like, thank God I'm just a guy from Manchester, because all of them were banging each other. Even Cleopatra, earlier in her life, Cleopatra married 2 other brothers. To keep hold of all the power, these royals either end up shagging and marrying one of the siblings or killing one of them. And I'm not going to kill me sister or shag me brother just to get me hands on me mum's Nissan Duke. It's not worth it. It's on finance and you can keep it. Me mum hates that joke because she wants everyone to know she's got a cash guy now. So she's on the cash guy. I'm not going to lie, this has been lovely, but everyone said, Josh, you'll be too hot in that coat. But I bought it yesterday and I want to put it on my tax return, so that's why I wore it. But I look lovely. Anyway, thank you very much. See you later. Bye-bye.